Today, let's talk about several things not to do when organizing your space. Trying to organize before you declutter is one of the biggest mistakes that I see. This is a huge mistake that I made for most of my life. I always thought I just need to get organized. If I could just get organized, it would solve my clutter problem. No, decluttering solves your clutter problem, and organizing just helps streamline everything and helps you find homes, create homes for everything that you have. So do not even attempt to organize unless you've decluttered first. Not only will you end up buying way more bins than you actually need, but you won't be able to see exactly what type of organizing solution is actually going to work in your space because you've just got too much stuff. Don't forget to categorize again before you buy solutions. It's nice because you can see exactly how many items you have, how many categories you actually have, and it makes buying solutions really straightforward, and you don't generally end up wasting your money and getting frustrated and thinking, oh my gosh, the organizing didn't even work. I'm terrible at organizing. This usually ends up coming back to make us feel like we're not capable. No, it's not that at all. You're completely capable, but categorizing items, seeing exactly what you have, lets you know what you need and makes it, again, easier and more straightforward when you're buying solutions. Try not to make your bins too specific or your categories too specific. If you have a container or a bin for every single potential category, this might end up being very overwhelming and make it hard to find actual solutions. So maybe you just put all the hair care items in one bin. Not that you have a bin for frizz control and a bin for hairspray and a bin for dry shampoo, but all the hair care items go in one bin. So be specific, break it down into categories, medicine, hair care, but don't make it so specific that you're buying individual containers for aspirin and Tylenol. Organizing papers into stacks. This is a huge mistake. Don't feel like you can just pile up a huge mountain of paper and call that organizing. You still won't be able to find things easily. It will not be clear where things go, and it will just cause a lot of clutter to actually accumulate because you don't see what you actually have, and it just gets out of control. We've had this plastic organizing filing tub. I don't even know what these are called. We've had this for years and years. We just used basic, boring manila envelopes for it, and it's perfect. We have all the paperwork that we need. We know exactly where it goes, and there are no piles of paper lying around. You actually don't need to keep as much paper as you probably think, so maybe just buy a ugly filing folder like I did and call it a day. Buying things without a home. This is how you accumulate floaters / intruders in your house. Things that just end up floating around your space, driving you crazy. So this is one of my best tips for actually staying organized, is making sure that you don't bring anything into your home that doesn't belong in some kind of category in your space. And once you get organized, you'll kind of see how much space you have that you might actually have to declutter a little more to get a new item or replace an item. And that's totally fine, but make sure that you don't buy anything without a home. This makes organizing, again, so much easier to maintain. Not investing in the right organization solutions like I did for years and years of my life can really make it frustrating again and make you feel like you are the problem. I have absolutely nothing against buying organization at the dollar store if this works for you and works for your space. The problem that I found is that often these solutions don't fit very well in my space. In fact, I'd like to do a little experiment because it's been several years since I've explored Dollar Tree or dollar store organization. I'd like to see if it's improved, if maybe I can make it work in my home. But invest just that little bit extra money if you need to get proper organizing bins that suit the space, that fit the space and your personality. If you don't like clear acrylic, don't buy it, even if it's on sale. Buy the right kind of organizing for you and your space. Not finishing an organization project before moving on to the next is another huge mistake. In fact, I like to go a little bit further than this and think about decluttering. Not finishing a decluttering and then organizing project, because the two go hand in hand before moving on can make your life a nightmare. So before you get fed up and give up on this whole venture of decluttering and organizing your space, just limit yourself to one area. Continue to go back to that area, decluttering it and working out the organization before you move on. You will be amazed at how much less time this actually takes than you thought, especially if you start like in the kitchen or in the bathrooms, areas that do not contain a lot of sentimental items. So try not to move on, as tempting as it is to like give up on a project because it's frustrating us. Try and just take a small break and then hit that area again until it's fully decluttered and organized. Not seeing your home as an actual boundary in and of itself. In other words, not respecting the limits of your space is another problem that can make trying to organize very, very frustrating. I love to think in terms of small containers always, but when it comes to organizing, I like to see the entire room as a boundary. And if I try and stuff too much into this space, into this room, then my home's gonna feel cluttered and it's gonna be way harder to maintain, both in keeping it clutter-free and keeping it or even getting it organized. So try and respect the limits of your home. Whatever cupboard space you have, respect those limits. That is how many mugs you can keep comfortably. Trust me, it's just gonna make your life so much easier. So try and view every single crevice and cranny of your home as an actual boundary. Trying to keep it all. This is another thing that goes right along with that the importance of decluttering. If you do an initial declutter and you feel like, oh my gosh, I've gotten rid of all the trash, all the stuff I'm not using, and then you buy the organization solutions and you come home and there's actually more you could declutter before you put it in the organizer, get rid of it even if it fits. If you're keeping things just to fill up the spaces, the Home Edit does this. And yes, the Home Edit is amazing in bright rainbow colors and everything is so aesthetic and it is really cool. It is completely unrealistic. Every single bin they show you is completely full. Do not fall into the trap of thinking that every single bin has to be full in order for it to be aesthetically pleasing. Who cares? You want this area just to function for you. Get off the Home Edit tram as fast as you can. I'm not saying there's no value in their system. It may work for some people, but for me, it seems completely unrealistic. This leads me right into my next one, which is buying aesthetically pleasing, cute little organizing bins and knowing they're not actually practical. So I myself really enjoy visually pleasing things. I have all white bins in my pantry. I recently reorganized my linen and game cupboard, and I tried to make things kind of go together as best I can, starting with what I already had, but trying to buy solutions just because they're beautiful and they don't actually serve a practical purpose is, oh my goodness, going to be so frustrating and such a huge waste of money. So start with the bins that you already have and go from there. This is the best way to do it, because if you still have that bin, it could be an indicator that that bin is actually working. Not necessarily. You're gonna have to ask yourself a couple questions, but if you still have the bin, it might have been working really, really well for you. So consider this when you're going out and buying bins at Home Goods, which is, by the way, my favorite place to buy organization solutions. Amazon, Target, they all have great options, but make sure they're practical before you kind of buy into this like Pinterest-worthy organization status. Trust me, labeling makes it so much easier to keep your space organized, and again, to just know at a glance exactly what you have. It also helps your family help you keep spaces in your home organized, and this is a beautiful thing. So have labels. I really, really like these off of Amazon. They're a little chalk label, but they have a hook on the back so they fit on pretty much any basket. I use them in my laundry room, I use them in my pantry, and now I'm going to put them in my game cupboard. So I really like the versatility of these, and I like that they're just wipe off in case I want to change them. Here's another video on the screen for more inspiration for a more clutter-free and organized life. I'll see you over there.